Hey guys, Selena here. Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be doing episode 4 of my attempted recaps. So episode 4 starts off with where we left off in episode 3, and it's with Shihyun and Suji, and they're talking about this whole kiss thing. And then Shihyun asks Suji if she thinks he can't do it. The scene switches into a flashback, and in the flashback Suji is sitting there playing her cello, and these little high school girls walk by and see her, and they start talking shit about her and her family, because at that time her dad had gotten arrested and her parents were getting a divorce. And so these girls were making fun of the fact that she's acting like she's rich, or she's acting like everything's normal when her family is going through all this shit. Shihyun walks by these girls, and when he walks by them, they shut up and leave. So he walks into the room where Suji is playing her cello, and he starts to comfort her, telling her not to listen to those little gossip girls. And then he asks her if she wants to date him. And Suji tells him she does not want to date him if he's asking her out of pity, just so she could be protected from the bullies because of Shihyun's family standing. Or is he doing this because her mother is his mother's doctor? Shihyun then asks Suji why she has so much doubt in people, and when will she stop. She then tells Shihyun that she does not want to date him, but she will give him the pleasure of allowing him to kiss her one time. But when Shihyun gets up to try and do it, they both end up just laughing. The scene now switches to Seju. We're back in the present time, and Seju is in the elevator, and he's thinking about their whole entire marriage plans. And so he ends up calling whoever he was going out to meet and canceling on them, and decides to go back up to the loft. So back in the loft, Suji and Shihyun are still in this almost kissing phase. This shit took so long. Like, literally, this is what we seen last episode. They're still in this position, for real. Anyway, so they end up not even being able to kiss. And so Suji's like, okay, since he couldn't do that, there's one way where she will agree to marry him, and that's if he agrees to partake in her revenge plot against Kyung. And he's like, okay. So now they're just discussing how he's gonna seduce the girl Taehi. So when Seju comes back, he sees them discussing this, and he smiles and he approaches them and tells them that his plans got cancelled when he cancelled his plans because he did not trust the two of them alone together because he fucking likes Suji. So in the next scene, Suji's mom goes to visit Seokwoo at the company, and they're having lunch together, and he's asking about Suji if she's doing alright, and she's like, oh, maybe she shouldn't have broken the news out to her like that. And then Suji's mom starts asking about Shihyun and is asking how she could take care for him or whatever, since in her opinion Shihyun does seem to like her. And Seokwoo, Shihyun's dad, was just like, the fuck? This whole conversation made him lose his appetite and shit. So he changes the topic, and they start talking about business and their stocks, and I don't care. I'm not here for the business part. So she senses that the mood is kind of weird, so she's like, okay, you know what? I told you we should have just gone to a restaurant instead of having the lunch here. So she's about to leave, and then he apologizes to her and then hands her over an engagement ring, and she has the fakest reaction to this engagement ring I've ever seen. She's just like, oh. Literally, that's how she acted when she seen the fucking ring. That was spot on. So in the next scene, Shihyun is leaving the loft, and he gets a call from the secretary telling him that his mom's car has been delivered to him. While he's driving the car, he now remembers the conversation that he just had with Suji, and she warns him that she's not telling him to go out here and fall in love with the girl. So she tells him, I'm not telling you to fall in love with the girl. You just seduce her, make her fall madly in love with you, and then you dump her. That's all I'm asking you to do. And Shihyun's cocky as fuck. He's like, yeah, whatever, like, I can do that. And he's just like, yeah, who doesn't like me? And then the scene switches to, when he thinks that, the scene switches to Suji, and she's like taking a bath, and she also thinks, yeah, who does not like him? Which made me think, like, does Suji have like some underlying feelings for Shihyun, or is she just a self-centered bitch who loves all the attention on her, or something like that? Because like, she tells Shihyun she does not like him, but she constantly likes to receive attention from him, just like she loves the attention that Seju gives her, but she never gives him the time of day. Then Shihyun arrives at his new house and he starts unboxing shit. He pulls out a picture of his mom and him celebrating a birthday, and then he sees that he has Taehee's party invitation from her mother that she had dropped on the bus. And then he has this like clear board, and he decides to draw a cartoon character of her. I guess it's his thing, like he likes to draw on that, like whatever his missions are or something. So the next scene, Seju has a black eye because he probably got caught sneaking out of his house, and his brothers probably beat the shit out of him again. He's at the hospital with Suji, and they see Taehee, so Suji decides to follow Taehee around. So then while Taehee is leaving, she ends up bumping into Suji's mom, and Suji's mom has like some sort of deja vu about she might know who like she kind of recognizes Taehee's face. So while Suji is on the phone getting information about Taehee, like she's impersonating Taehee, and she's getting like information of when and where Taehee is going to move. Suji's mom sees her, so they end up going to the office to talk. So Suji tries to convince her mom that she tries to convince her mom not to marry Soku, and she doesn't really have a valid reason of why she doesn't want them to get married, other than she thinks her mom's evil as shit. That's it. Like, her reasoning for not wanting her mom to get married is because her mom is going to that family to gain shit, and then she's gonna destroy it. That's what she thinks. So she's telling her mom, no, I don't want you to get married. She sees the ring on her mom's finger, and she asks her mom, do you like the guy, or do you just want the company? And her mom tells her both. And then afterwards she asks her mom, does Suji's father know that her mom is about to get remarried? And her mom cusses her out, telling her how she's acting like such an immature child, talking about, oh, you're trying to make me not get married by bringing up your father. And she basically tells her it's none of your dad's business what I do since they're divorced. So they argue some more, and then Suji leaves. So then Shihyun goes to the house, and he brings a bunch of flowers, and he's practicing his lines to say to Taehee. But when the door opens, Nayoon is the one that's behind the door, and Shihyun is shook. So Shihyun is flustered by the fact that Nayoon had opened the door, and she ends up telling him how she misses him or whatever, and how she's been thinking about him, and like he can just think of her as just his like classmate's mom, but like it's still weird because he made out with her or whatever. So she ends up taking the flowers that he had brought, and then we see that gossip Ajuma, Haejong's mom and Haejong were in the car, and they see what goes down between Shihyun and Nayoon. At the same time, Kyungju and Taehee are walking home, and Taehee sees the two Shihyun and Nayoon talking, so she tries to distract Kyungju. And she's like, oh, you want to go get tteokbokki, so like let's cut. So as they're turning around trying to leave, Shihyun, I guess, was done with like Nayoon, so he sees them and he calls out Taehee's name, and he goes to stop them. And then Kyungju asks him, do you guys know each other? And Shihyun's like, yeah, but at the same time Taehee was like, no. And so it was kind of awkward, so he went with no as well. And then afterwards, Kyungju ends up telling Taehee to go on ahead to the tteokbokki stand without her. and she goes off to talk to Shihyun. Kyungju confronts Shihyun about what the hell happened between him and her mother, and he's shook, like he wasn't expecting to be confronted with all this. She's just heartbroken by this whole thing, so she starts crying, and then Taehee over here, nosy ass shit, looking at them having a conversation, and then when she sees Kyungju break down and go to the floor, she starts like cussing Shihyun out in German, like, shut the fuck up, bitch, you don't even know what's going on. I honestly don't like this girl. I don't know, her character fucking sucks. I don't like it. Like, she's so judgmental and she doesn't even know people, even though like he's not a good guy. But like, you don't even know what's going on and you're cussing people out. Like, come on now, can you hear what they're saying? If you knew what they were saying, you would sit your ass down and shut the fuck up. So while Kyungju is in the middle of her little tantrum, Kyung cuts because he was not going to deal with that shit. So next scene, Nayeon is at home and she's arranging the flowers, and Hyejung's mom calls her to ask for a tutor for Hyejung, because Hyejung dumb as shit. And then Nayeon, who's dumb as shit too, is talking about how Hyejung is dumb as shit, and like the tutor that she has will not be able to tutor Hyejung because her level is not advanced enough, and she knows like an elementary school. Yo, she was throwing shots. She knows an elementary school tutor that could tutor Hyejung. And then to clap back at Nayeon's little diss, Hyejung's mom's like, oh, I hope you enjoy those flowers you just got, and then like hung up. So then Kyung enters the house and starts speaking Mandarin or Chinese to the maid, and she asks her, oh, where did she get these flowers from? And he's like, oh, some handsome young guy gave her these flowers. And she's like, oh, and she goes to her room. So yeah, the next scene, Taehee is laying down. She gets a call from Kyungju, and Kyungju asks her why she didn't tell her that she had gotten into a car accident with Shihyun. And then Taehee's like, oh, wasn't that like bad, because nothing happened. All she did was like scrape her knee because she fell. And so she's like, oh, it wasn't that serious, so that's why I didn't tell you. And she's like, okay. And then Kyungju's like, Kyungju tells Taehee that she does not want her getting involved with Shihyun. So in the next scene, Shihyun is at the loft with Seju and Suji, and he's telling them about his failed encounter with Taehee, Kyungju, and Nayeon. And he's like, he did not know that Nayeon was Kyungju's mom. And then both Shihyun and Seju were like, how Nayeon is a Nuna because she looks really young, so they keep calling her Nuna. And when Suji points this out, they're like, cause she looks like a Nuna. And yeah, that was that scene. Oh yeah, and then Suji asks Shihyun if he wants her to like help him with this, and he's like, no, I got it. So the next day, Shihyun is waiting at the bus stop for Taehee, and she sees him and she's like, what the fuck? So she just walks past him, and she goes and she sits down and she starts drawing the same shit she was drawing before. So the bus comes and they got on the bus, and Shihyun pays for the both of them. So Taehee asks Shihyun if he's like stalking her or some shit. Yes he is. Shihyun's like, nah, he's there to clear up misunderstandings between them. And so the bus kind of causes it stops abruptly, which causes Taehee to fall into Shihyun's hands. But when she does that, he gets this like imagination. His imagination runs wild. And you know how in K-dramas when the girl like slips, the guy like catches her, and all this dramatic music is happening, and then he twirls her and then they like make out? Yeah, that's what he thought was gonna happen. But in reality, Taehee's like, nigga, can you like let me the fuck go? And everybody's staring at him like, ew, what's wrong with this fucking creep ass nigga? And so this guy gets off the seat and Shihyun ends up taking the seat. So then the next stop, this creepy ass dude comes onto the bus and ends up putting his hand on top of Taehee's hand on the bus where she's like holding. And so she ends up like flipping him. Well, not flipping him, she ends up like, I don't know, doing some next kung fu move. I can't remember. But like she ends up like confronting him and pushing him onto Shihyun. And Shihyun was kind of shook because he planned this. He planned to like act like a hero. So when he when Taehi pushes him onto Shihyun, Shihyun was shocked. So then he quickly decided to get push the guy and then push him off the bus. And then when he pushed him off the bus, everybody who was looking at Shihyun like he was some type of perverted ass creep 5 seconds ago is now like clapping like and swooning over him. And then these girls were like, oh my god, I wish he was my boyfriend. And then while he's like dashing the nigga off the bus, Taehi ends up taking that seat. So he comes back to her, and when he goes back to her, he's like, oh, you don't have to thank me. And then she's like, did you plan that shit, you fucking weirdo? And she starts scolding him and shit. And then Shihyun tells her that this is not their second encounter. They've actually had other encounters. And she's like, what encounters have we had, nigga? And then she finally recognizes him from the bus in the second episode. I think that's when they met. The episode ends with Shihyun with his hand out to Taehi. So, thoughts on this episode? Again, nothing happened. It's so, like, the revenge, like, seduction thing has started, but it's like, it's so weak. That's the thing I was gonna talk about. It's boring as shit. Like, parts of the story is really boring. Like, I wish it could get more exciting. Like, it's not having me excited. And again, Joy, now that she's gonna be more in it, it's gonna be even more boring because her acting is really, like, it's not her acting per se, it's how she enunciates her words. Like, she talks like she's mumbling. She's like, oh, tapoki, like, that's how she speaks. And it's like in the show. But if you've seen, but I think it's something that has to do with the way she speaks normally, because even when she's speaking normally, that's how she speaks. But it's like, and you're supposed to be acting, and it's like you seem so stiff and awkward. Like, it doesn't make me want to watch it anymore. Except like Seju, I want to see him win. I want to see him get the girl, and I kind of want, I don't know, I want to see Kyungju win. Seju, Suji, I feel like she's gonna be really dumb. They always do this. The girl will be like, oh, I want you to get revenge for me. Go and seduce this girl. And then afterwards, while the guy's seducing the girl, they fall in love. And then the freaking girl who sent him there is like, why'd you fall in love? Now I'm in love with you. Like, it's so dumb. And then their friendship is gonna be ruined. That's what always happens. It's like, ugh, so predictable. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to check out my other videos and comment, like, and subscribe. Bye.
Na na na